Good day, African American Christians. I need to ask you something. I humbly ask that you hear the words of your Father, the Most High. I beg you to please stop calling on a false god for help. I ask you this because if you listen to his words, then we can fulfill a prophecy, leave the USA, and go home. I'll tell you the prophecy in a minute. African American Christians, I'm singling you out because you're my people. I'm not asking you to subscribe to this channel. I'm not here for likes. I'm here to deliver the written word of the Almighty Creator to my people. Saying that, I humbly ask you to please read Deuteronomy chapter 28. There you will see who the true children of the Almighty are. I'll give you a hint, African American Christian. Look in the mirror. When you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, you'll see that the true children of the Father were scattered, to the four corners of the earth, among their enemies, by ships, like it reads. African American Christians, you are a very special people, and our enemies know it. A very powerful people. A people that still have the love of their Father, the Almighty Creator. I say that because you're still alive. Your enemy knows that one day you're going to wake up. Your enemy also knows that the Almighty Creator would start judging the nations with plagues, famine, and pestilence. Genesis 15, 13 through 16. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. That's us. That's happening right now. We've done our 400 years here in the USA, and now our Father is showing you what his wrath looks like. Here's what you need to do to be protected. Psalms 33, 18 through 20. Behold, the eye of the Almighty is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for the Almighty. He is our help and our shield. If you fear your Father, the Almighty Creator, then he protects you and takes care of you, African American Christian. Here's the prophecy. Deuteronomy 30, 1 through 3, and I'm reading from the KJV in this video. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, Deuteronomy 28, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Almighty thy Creator hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Almighty thy Creator, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then the Almighty thy Creator will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Almighty thy Creator hath scattered thee. The Almighty's words say that if you come back to him with all your heart and with all your soul, then he will lift our captivity and have compassion on us, and will return and gather us from all the nations, including this one where he scattered us. He's waiting for you to turn away from Christianity and follow him. The only way to truly return to your Creator is by reading His words. His words are only in your book, the Old Testament. African American Christian, did you know that there were no white prophets? The only prophets are in the Old Testament, and everyone knows they were melanated and looked just like you. The New Testament has European apostles. The Almighty Creator never spoke to the apostles. Think about that. I'm going to read that prophecy again. This is the Almighty Creator telling you with His own words what to do. He's telling you so He can come rescue us and end our captivity sentence here in the United States of our enemies and end this. Deuteronomy 30, 1-3. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Almighty thy Creator hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Almighty thy Creator, and shalt obey His voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then the Almighty thy Creator will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Almighty thy Creator hath scattered thee. For the past 10 to 15 videos, maybe more, at the end I would say to separate from our enemies. I didn't know why I was saying to separate. I just knew that the Almighty was telling me to put it at the end of my videos. Now I know why. Now I don't have to say it anymore because the Almighty did it. Now I'm ending my videos like this because it's what I'm being told to say. Come back to your Father, the Almighty Creator, while you still have a chance.